So good evening and welcome everyone to Naveda's 80 is the New 50 webinar panel discussion number 9. I am Veena Dansingani, founder, director, and alopecia hair loss specialist of Naveda Integral Wellness Center in Hong Kong. So I'm just double checking right now if we are live.
Yes, we are.
Yes, because I can't see myself properly. Okay.
Yeah, you are Facebook Live, absolutely.
Okay. So as I was saying that we are an integral wellness center in Hong Kong, which is the first value-based integral wellness center offering a transformative health experience to its clients with a mission and a vision to open our flagship centers in more than 20 countries by 2024. So Naveda empowers people to learn the functions of the body, mind, and spirit and provides solutions to all using an integral wellness approach, addressing human, planet, and social health. We promote healthy lifestyle changes through science-based wellness and prevention programs and solutions. So Naveda launched our 80 is the New 50 panel discussion on the 21st of January, 2021, a campaign which was inspired by our director, Mr. Lal Darinani, who turns 80, or should I say 50, on the 15th of April of 2021. And really does not really look at
No, it's not right.
age. So we know that there are many role models like him around the world, and Naveda has made it its mission.
More straight.
Mr. Chanhira, are you having any concerns?
No problem. No. Go ahead.
If you could kindly just mute yourself so that it doesn't disturb anybody.
Okay.
Great. Thank you so much. So Naveda, as I said, has launched our program on the 21st of January. And we have been inspired by our director, Mr. Lal Darinani. And we know that there are many role models like him around the world. And we have already seen that from our past discussions, the people that we've brought in, the guests that we've brought in, and we've engaged with. So it is really our mission and vision to get connected with all these wonderful individuals who can be a true inspiration to, the 50 plus or even younger. So as we know that life expectancy has increased and we are seeing more of that happening, we are seeing people living up to the ages of 80, 90, or even 100 plus. So thanks to advances in healthcare, this is allowing it to happen. And people are living longer than ever before. And this trend is likely to increase as we see new medical technologies and procedures happening and appearing over time. So with age, as they say, comes pearls of wisdom, experience, knowledge in various aspects of life. And the youth can really seek the solace and guidance of our seniors, or should I say the young at heart, or more seasoned beings. But with age, people also tend to develop physical and mental challenges like dementia, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, osteoporosis, arthritis, heart diseases, obesity, depression, loneliness. People tend to lose purpose, joy, passion, or even drive. So today, Naveda has invited some very successful, seasoned, energetic, wise, insightful, and charming guest panel to our 80 is the New 50 panel discussion to share the secrets of their success despite the variety of challenges, whether it's physical, mental, emotional, social, or economical throughout their lifetime. So I'd like to welcome our guest to the panel discussion. First, Mr. Narendra Panjwani. He's a publisher of Global Health and Travel magazine, which is the go-to resource for trusted information on international healthcare and medical travel, and is currently based in Singapore. So thank you for being here, Narendra.
Pleasure.
Second, we have Mr. Chand Hira. He's the director of Hira's Fashion, Hong Kong, and has a keen interest in taking up many fitness challenges and competitions with the youth to keep himself healthy, active, fit, happy, and alive. Welcome, Mr. Hira. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. Appreciate. Thank you.
And we have Mr. Ravi Tandon from Delhi. He's a well-respected name in India in the financial world, who is the managing director of MAFCON India Limited, which is a management and financial consultancy company. He is very much in tune with the organic agriculture and Ayurveda field, and very much believes and follows this Indian knowledge of the health system, implementing it in real knowledge in his life. He's very passionate about this, and we're going to learn how he has implemented this and how this is helping him. Next, we have Dr. Sanjay Nagakar, who is a renowned microbiologist. He's a PhD from the University of Hong Kong. He's published more than 100 scientific papers, research articles, and reports. He has invented over 83 technologies in preventive healthcare, environmental science, ecology, and nutraceutical functional foods, and also is Naveda's in-house scientist. And of course, last but not least, we have Mr. Lal Darinani. He's our campaign ambassador. He's Naveda's director, who know him for many, many years. People who've known him for many, many years know him as Lal Lamos.
Yes.
He is a business tycoon who went from rags to riches and used to own multiple offices around the world until 10 years ago, when he decided that he has worked enough and now is the time to enjoy his golden years. Being the habitual business tycoon that he is, he yet saw another big opportunity in the wellness industry and has invested in his own well-being and others by investing into Naveda Integral Wellness Center to bring in a paradigm shift in the way people deal with health and well-being. A man who lives life king size, very loving, warm, ready to learn, grow, and thrive at any stage of his life. To him, age is just a number, and he truly is an example and an inspiration to many. And we are counting down 36 days to his 80th milestone birthday, or should I say 50th. So a very big welcome again to all our panel guests, and thank you so much for offering your precious time to us to share your pearls of wisdom and gems to us and to all the audience who are listening. They say that in life, to achieve anything in life, one has to be persistent and committed. So let's start with our first panel guest and see what his thoughts are on this subject. 1 second. Yeah, you go. Okay. So let's start with Narinder Panjwani first. Okay. So if everybody could just put yourselves on mute if there's any background noise so that it doesn't cause any disturbance. Yeah. So let's start with Narinder. So Narinder,
Yes, Veena.
being here. So please
Veena,
share
one thing before.
There seems to be some noise at the back. Let me just mute someone here. Is there another Ravi Tandon trying to come in here?
Maybe from my.
Yes, so if you could kindly request her, because we're just, otherwise it's going to disturb us, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to mute everybody else while I'm speaking to Narinder. All right, good. So Narinder, yes, you were saying. Were you saying something? Narinder, are you here? Hello? Did Narinder just go? Hello?
I'm here. Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, okay, because you just froze for that second. Okay, so yes, so please do share a little bit about yourself.
Oh, can you see me now?
Yes, we can see you. Are we audible?
The line is choppy.
Okay, so maybe I can go on to Mr. Ravi Tandon first then, till your line gets better there.
Yeah, I don't know. Why is it? Because it suddenly frozen. I mean, all of you are frozen.
Okay, so come to Ravi and then come to Narinder.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. So I'm going to start with Mr. Ravi Tandon. If you need to come out to come back in, you can even try doing that. That might help.
Am I audible?
Yes, you are. Okay. So, Mr. Ravi, I'm going to start with you. So
Yeah.
please do share a little bit about yourself. What do you do? And, that would really be helpful.
Namaskar, all my co-panelists. I am basically in my 50s, late 50s, and I have remained a very active sportsman in my younger school days, college days. After that, got into business grind, and for almost 30 years, I was handling manufacturing and exports business from India. And from a very active to a very sedentary lifestyle, gradually it occurred to me that your body starts giving you signals. And generally we overlook all such signals when they are coming to you. And somewhere down the line, I got thyroid. And I was putting on a lot of weight. I went to my doctor. I went through all the blood tests and everything. And I was told that thyroid is such a now thing that you have got. Your weight will increase. This is what my doctors told me. So you have to control your diet and all that. And a medicine which started on daily basis. Gradually, I also found that I was having blood pressure, though it was not very high, alarmingly high, but I got blood pressure. And on the borderline, I had this type 2 diabetic, this thing. This reading was around 120 fasting. This was the time when I realized something was wrong. Ravi Tandon, you have to take the things into your hands, because otherwise your body will not spare you. And this was the time when I realized that after 3 or 4 years, when I was following the advice of allopathy doctors in India and going through my routine medical tests, I found that there was hardly any improvement in my broadly all my other parameters. Rather, I was trying to control them. That's all. So at this stage, being in India, there is an advantage of you get a service of a yoga instructor. So I engaged him. He started visiting me at my home. He is a very capable young boy, and he assured me that you can do wonders with your body if you start a regular regime of yoga. So in my sports days, I was a enthusiast for my sculpted gym body. I was doing gym every day for almost 1.5 to 2 hours. And I wanted to become pro bodybuilder at one stage along with my business. So evenings and mornings I was doing it twice a day. So I don't know whether all these things helped me to tide over those crucial years when my body was deteriorating, because my exercise and my body structure, whatever, it helped me not to deteriorate so fast. And in the meantime, when I started with yoga, initially the experience was altogether different, because yoga tells you to become very flexible. And by the grace of God, because in India we believe a lot in God, and I was into meditation. I was doing a lot of meditation to keep my mind at peace. So this was a altogether an experience where I was moving around the main subject, how to control these deteriorating effects in my body. So at that time, I realized that to lose weight is one option. And to lose weight, how do I do it?
So, Mr. Ravi Tandon, could you just share with the audience? So you came into in a stage in your life where you found out that you had type 2 diabetes, you had high blood pressure, you were overweight,
Yes.
You were seeking the help of medical doctors to manage this initially,
yes.
right?
Yes.
Okay. And I also then understand that you took the help of a yoga instructor to help you
Yes.
sort of get into some form of a discipline, right?
Yes.
So besides that, I also understand with the little conversation I had that you also got the help. You put together Ayurveda as well. You took some of
Yes.
some lifestyle changes from Ayurveda as well. Maybe you could share with the audience in terms of where are you right now in your life? So this happened 2 years ago, 3 years ago. And what kind of transformation has happened ever since? How much weight have you lost? And what has actually really helped you?
This thyroid struck me in 2012.
Okay.
And in 2018, I started thinking very seriously about how to bring my body back into action. And you know, with when your weight starts increasing, your body is throwing signals at you day in and day out that your lethargy increases, your routine changes, you become slow. And due to excessive weight, though these things were all at the borderline, I would say. You know, I was not a full-blown diabetic patient. I was also not a full-blown this thing. But yes, these things started because these are the, I would say, they come along with your overweight. So when I started attacking, this started in 2019 when I engaged my instructor, yoga instructor.
Okay.
Before that, I went.
By that time, what was your weight, if you don't mind sharing with us?
Yes, I was at that time, I was 137.
137 kgs.
Yes.
Okay.
So, and I am 6 feet tall.
Okay.
And I have remained a very active. I used to travel a lot in India and abroad. I used to travel a lot, and I was maintaining that kind of lifestyle where your dietary habits change with the place where you are.
Yep.
So basically, there was no regime as such, strict regime to maintain my dietary habits or something like that.
Yeah.
But when you do this Ayurveda, when you start reading it, and when you engage yourself with, there is a very renowned this yoga center in Haridwar near Delhi, and I used to visit them. I used to read their articles also. So I found that, you know, Ayurveda talks a lot about the kind of food that you are taking. It starts from your kitchen. And kitchen means your medium of cooking oil, then milk that you are having, then you know, what kind of other are you going in for some preservatives, or you are taking a fresh food. So these are altogether a different you know, way to look at your diet, you know, because I feel that somewhere down the line, in my younger years, there was not much of fast food available in the markets in India. And then there was a attack of fast, though I'm not against any companies, or I'm not talking about against anybody, but those kind of fast foods which came to India, it was full of artificial, you know, this you know, sauces, and then all preservatives, and they give you special kind of taste which is not natural sometimes. And this, when you read, then you understand that your food has become an industry for certain people. And fortunately, in my younger years, when we lived in India, all these things were not there. We were taking a very natural food, fresh food, and our kitchens were having a different picture altogether. What we see today, because of less space and flat culture, and you know, your kitchens becoming more technology driven. Everything for you have microwaves and all that, pressure cookers. Ayurveda talks about, you know, your pulses. They lose their, you know, all the means whatever values they have, because is that it breaks due to pressure, all the pulses, then vegetables that you have. They talk about open, in your, they had different utensils to make food.
Right. So you adopted all these lifestyle changes into your life?
Oh, yes, I had to. Because when I started reading them, once I went into it, I found that this was a different world altogether. And gradually, when I introduced anything new to my regime, I found certain changes in the taste and certain changes in my body.
Right. So can you share with the audience how much do you weigh right now? What's the transformation?
I came down to 113.2 from 137 at one stage.
Okay.
But then I realized that, and my family member, they started telling me that don't shock your body so much that it may not retaliate.
Right.
The weight loss should be gradual, and you should, because I also started yoga. Then earlier I was not doing walks. Now I can walk 5 kilometers. That is not a problem. And as you know that even if when you start your walk and jog, it should be gradual. Your body should adapt to all these changes without shocking any part of your system.
So all the changes that you brought in, they were gradual. They were not like suddenly overnight you decided, okay, I'm not going to eat all these preservatives. I'm going to start yoga. I'm going to start walking. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. You didn't shock your system in that manner.
No, not at all. And that was, I think, one very big advantage for me. I will give you a very small example. You know, the milk that we take. Now, Ayurveda says that there is a A2 graded milk, which is Indian cow.
Okay.
That milk and ghee made out of that milk, A2 ghee, that is different values altogether.
Right.
Mustard oil.
Right.
Organically produced mustard seeds, yellow seeds, they give a wonderful result in your body. Because what is happening is that whenever you are making any oil which is hybrid quality, where you are adding lot of palm oil and all other things, what you are doing, you are spoiling the basic quality of that seed. Indian Ayurveda system says that your blood, it is a carrier of all the nourishment in your body, and for that your cooking medium is very important.
Right.
You know, people have blocked arteries and heart problems. Ayurveda says that it is all related to your how you eat your food, and your body is throwing signals, small signals at you many years in advance. They never come to you, heart failure and all this never comes to you all of a sudden. So this is what I gained a lot out of reading those material, meetings for such people. I have a very healthy discussion with Dr. Sanjay Nagarkar also, and he is also very much interested into these themes. And we have discussions. I have other friends who are into the field of Ayurveda. They are into the field of healthy lifestyle. So now I have realized that our system in India of meditation combined with your good diet, when you start loving the nature, when you start loving your environment, when you start talking to trees, when you start talking to animals, it's a different, in this age when everybody is running behind schedule, everybody is, our Indian lifestyle says that there is no need to run after the things. Whatever is your will come to you if you make the investment in at the right time and in the right direction.
Right. So good point. You talk about investment. So because you are a wealth management company or a finance consultancy company, so at the same time you know how to also invest into your own health as well, right?
Yeah, I used to make a fun with Ravi. Like I said, you are in the finance world. You are playing with like such a big money. And if you don't have a health and you are not there, where your money will go, other people will have fun with your money, right?
exactly.
So right now, like we have a target. I said like, okay, Ravi, like you are 113, 114 kg, still a lot. Let's come to the 2-digit number, 99. So
Yeah.
one after another. So that is his next goal. And we talk a lot about, yes, I think like what Ravi mentioned, and this is the thing we want to take up that these days, like especially what we are using the grocery in our kitchen, and especially Indian diaspora all around the world. So it's not about Ravi living in India, but the Indian diaspora all around the world. I think 80% of the Indian diaspora who living out of India go to the Indian grocery store in their own country. Like most of the Indians in Hong Kong go to the Indian grocery store in Hong Kong rather than the Hong Kong grocery store or supermarket like that, because they're due to the some kind of a staple diet, the food we get. So over the time period, what happened like in India, what Ravi is saying, he is from Delhi, and Delhi is a very notorious for the street food and all those kind of things. So yeah, and it's very interesting to share with you, and that I was mentioning that like we were talking about chola bhatura, and like chola bhatura 20 years back, the oil content of that chola bhatura, or the quantity, the quality, and everything has changed
Yes.
a lot, right? Name
Yes.
remains same. Name is chola bhatura. 20 years back, 30 years back, 50 years back, you still had a chola bhatura. Today you are already having chola bhatura. But today's chola bhatura is 1000% more health unfriendly chola bhatura
Yes.
as
Yes.
compared to 20 years or 30 years back. So basically Ravi is living in a time bomb area, kind of like, which is like on a time bomb, like ticking up like with the time. So that's what he mentioned about the A2 ghee, and that's what we have to make a little bit more emphasis around the world, that this is very special. Like suddenly, like there's a lot of research being done, and we know like since people talking about oils and all that, it's not good for health. A2 ghee people are talking about is good for health, right? Is a like a good fat, but especially made from A2 cow like milk. So I request all the audience over here to just to learn more about like A2 like milk, like from that particular category of cow, which is a pure Indian breed, pure
Yes.
Indian breed, and a lot of research over there. So that's the one thing. And the second thing is like there's a lot of research on oils. So like these days we take like refined oil, extra refined oil, virgin oil, extra virgin oil. But in India, what happened, like we have a very sustainable system. So rather than in a supermarket, like we have a lot of like a rural, like oil refinery kind of things. So the word is not refinery, but you can say like this is the cottage industry kind of things. Like they use like the manual process to like really uh, take the oil out, and that's what like in Ravi's journey, he discovered some kind of like this mustard oil. These guys are
Yes.
like making it like, which is absolutely pure. So uh, very interestingly, the oil what we get in the market is not a pure oil. They put a lot of like palm oil or other kind of stuff
Oh, yes.
in order to increase the volume, and we think like it is like coconut oil, or it is like kind of like this mustard oil or sunflower oil, but they all have a lot high quantity of palm oil.
Yes.
So and uh, refined palm oil or kind of like things they use, it's not very good. It's really increase a lot of like bad cholesterol in our body. So it's
Oh,
like
yes.
for Indians to watch this, like to be aware in terms of like understanding about the oil part. So I think like Ravi's losing 20 kg, that oil part play a very significant role. So I would like take this note on here, that my scientific knowledge with Ravi's 20 kg of weight loss and maintaining his like remodeling his kitchen, remodeling his food, shifting in oil played a significant role here.
Wonderful. So, Mr. Ravi, just to finally, one question.
Yeah.
The role of persistence in achieving your goal. Like you said, it's something not you didn't shock your system. It didn't happen over time. So tell the audience that it has your success. Has it been because you've been persistent? You've actually started to become a lot more conscious. You've made those conscious changes, and you consistently and continuously do that on a daily basis.
I will share a very good information with you. Ayurveda says that 30% of your food intake should be in some kind of a protein, and 40% should be carbohydrates, and 30% should be fat in the form of omega-3 based like oils and whatever you take, maybe nuts and other things that you take. My kind of experiment with the kitchen and lifestyle, what it has brought to me is that I'm able to control now almost after 4 months of leaving the strict dietary habits. I'm still controlling my weight. It is not going up drastically again. This is what happens with other, there are so many, it's an industry now. And what is happening is that people come and they give you crash diets, and India is full of such companies. What they are doing is that they are not making the lifestyle changes, but they advise you certain kind of special diet, and you start losing your weight at the cost of, almost making you go for, you look at food and you still can't have it because they make it so difficult in your mind that if you will eat food, this will happen to you. Whereas I am still enjoying my food. The best part is that you should have a good meal in the afternoon, and you can have it up to 6:30 in the evening. After that, if you can avoid carbohydrates altogether after 6:30 or 7 o'clock in the evening. Secondly, you should have a good quotient of deep sleep in your sleep cycle of 8 hours. These things, when you talk about that, how satisfied I am 100% confident that day I want, I can reduce another 20 kilograms in my body without becoming this thing hungry. That hunger pangs should not appear in your body. Intermittent fasting, what they talk about in India, there is a Nobel Prize also given out to because of intermittent fasting. Ekadashi Vrat is part of Indian diaspora. It's Indian culture. What I have learned is that these things were always there, but were forgotten. And still you have to hold hand of this new generation and take them on this journey, because they have somehow lot of advertisements and fast food. You go anywhere in any country, the kind of brochures which are made, or the hoardings which are made, or your advertisements on the any media, you will find that food is shown with alluring pictures. But you should look at how this food is being prepared. Is there any quotient of trans fat? Is there any quotient of oils which are actually dangerous for your body? These preservatives, these artificial taste. In world should go back to that kind of eating which was there. And I think these are all very, I have not heard others, but Sanjay, me, and there are other luminaries, we should take their, examples and make these strategic changes in our, because this is what we have to give to the society now.
Yes, wonderful. Thank you so much, Mr. Ravi. I'm sure there's lots of other questions maybe the panel would like to ask you, but I will move on to Mr. Chandhira first, and then we can, question each other. So yes. Hello, Mr. Chandhira, can you unmute yourself? Hello? No, you haven't. You have to unmute yourself.
Okay, here. Yeah, yes. Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes. So thank you so much. Welcome. I know this is your first time coming on a Zoom session like that, so thank you for taking this.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to your friend like you always do. So please do share about yourself, about what you do with the audience. Let get to know you a little bit.
Well, as you know, my name is Chand Hira,
Yeah.
and I'm a fan of Lalu. I envy him every time I see him. So what I can say is I am trying to follow or understand what he's doing and how he's doing. And I really like him and the way he's handling things. And did you want to know what I do?
Yes, I wanted to know what you do. Would you like to share with the audience what you do?
Okay, my business is bespoke custom tailor, but that's aside. I was like Ravi Tandon was saying, he was so much weight and he lost weight. I was about 5 years ago, 280 pounds.
Wow.
280 pounds. I could not walk so much. If I walked 5 minutes, I want to sit down. My back used to hurt.
Hmm.
So like the other gentleman just said, I spoke to myself and I started walking. I walk now since because of coronavirus, I've not been traveling. So this whole year I have walked a lot. And before that I walked a lot, but this year I have walked a lot. In all, I have lost I've lost 75, 76 pounds. Now I am 204 or 205.
Right. So, Mr. Hira, coming back, you said you were not able to even walk much. So, how did you realize that you needed to do something? What came into your mind that you said you needed to do something? Were you sick? Was there a health issue? Because you said you couldn't walk. So, how did you just suddenly start walking?
No, I had no health issues. Of course, if you're that heavy, you have some problems with your body, but I didn't have fortunately, any health issues. But I had spoke to myself that if you want to be, I'm actually, since young age, I'm a very active person. I've always walked, always played cricket, always played squash and everything. I've been very active. I played squash with Lal also a few years ago. I've been very active. So in between, like in my business is tailoring, I travel a lot. And, when you travel, you sit in a plane for 15 hours, 12 hours, and then there's no system of life, I mean, it's unpractical way of living. So anyway, so all this made me think about myself and my family also, because, I'm the eldest in my family. And I took care of myself and started walking, and I drink whiskey. I stopped whiskey for 2 years. In that 2 years and walking and all that, I lost like maybe 50 pounds or something like that. And then after that, this whole year I walked a lot and I have lost maybe 25 pounds in this year.
Right.
So I have made myself strong and I'm very happy that I did it.
Right.
That's all I can say.
Did you adopt any, besides your walking, did you adopt any changes in your diet, or what was your mindset like? What sort of a mindset did you have? Because it's not like suddenly one day you wake up and I said, I'm going to lose this. There must be some sort of a success mindset.
Yes, I watched my diet. And I was not that strict like the other gentlemen there, but I watched my diet and I started, as you grow older, you start eating less. I started eating less and it all helped me to reduce. And I would say all the seniors or everybody should walk or jog or whatever. And this is the only way to really be healthy, and it's good for body anyway.
Right. So I also know that you really walk a lot. Like you really You walk for 2 hours, 3 hours, you're doing 25,000 steps, you're doing 30,000 steps. So, is
These
there,
are my awards.
yeah, that's, I mean, wonderful. I'm so happy
I
that,
have 3 awards.
yes, I know that you are in some walking challenges with some very youthful people and you are on the top league. But I also want to ask, I mean, Dr. Sanjay suddenly disappeared here, I think. But in terms of Mr. Ravi Tandon was saying shocking the body. So if we tend to shock the body like this, if you've not been doing something and you take on something so aggressively,
Mhm.
what are your thoughts on baby? It's actually going to, yes, initially it gives you that kick, it gives you the results, but it could possibly also cause some damage to your body if you just continue like that.
Basically, it has not costed any damage to my body.
Not,
Yeah, you know, you're getting old, 73, I'm 73. You're getting old. You have to be careful with your body. That's
yeah,
all I can say. But keep walking. I
yeah,
do walk and I jog also, but jogging is a bit hard. So I walk a lot. And I would say that's the only way to really remain healthy.
right, right. So I mean, for you that has worked. That for you that has worked,
I
right?
know many people who have walked and it has worked for them. But yes, for me, it has worked a lot.
Right, 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 right. So, going back to, I know you won your awards recently, and you've been on the top list where you've achieved, I think, over 1 million steps in a year or
Yeah,
something
I did 1 million steps and I did 900,000, not in a year, in a month,
in a month.
in a month of 30 days.
How many steps did you take in a month?
1,058,000 to be precise.
Wow. Okay.
And
Wow.
I was number one in the whole group of like 50 people. And I'm the oldest in the group. One of the oldest. We have 2 or 3 guys older. I
Okay.
mean, same age about. And the next guy who did 200,000 steps less than me is 50 years younger than me. I'm sorry, 20 years younger than me. He's 53. I'm 73.
Right.
So
So tell me that mindset. Is that you? Yeah, is that you since you were very young? You were like an achiever. You like to be at the top of things. If you want to take on, you take on competitions and challenges. What's that mindset? Is that a
no,
competitive mindset, or it's something where you say, no, I want to achieve it because of my health and well-being?
I would say for me personally, competition joining this group, RGN group, which I am joined, has been healthy for me.
Yeah.
I did not want to prove to anybody, but I wanted to prove to myself that I can still do it. I
Right.
did not need to prove anybody. In what I did, I tried to help other people, send my mileage to my walking steps to other people. Anyway, I did try to maybe about 20 people to make them enthusiastic to walk.
Yeah.
And I have convinced 5 people to walk, and it makes me real happy that they are also very happy. They're not in the group, but they walk themselves and they tell me that they are healthier, they are better, and that's what I do.
Right.
And I'm happy that they have followed what I've told them.
Right.
So
Right.
if I can pass my good words to somebody and somebody can use it, then that gives me a pleasure inside. That's all I can say.
Right. So it is inspiring.
Sanjay has joined back again.
Yes. 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 I think technology sometimes happens. The Wi-Fi goes
Yeah,
off. People come in and
yeah,
go. That happens in
yeah,
technology.
yeah.
Good. 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 So, when people, what's your view on when people suffer from chronic health conditions?
Hmm.
Right. You have a certain mindset. You want to do something for yourself, for your health and well-being. So, people suffer from different chronic conditions. It's very important to listen to what the doctors are saying, but also at the same time, it's very important to learn about your body and to adopt some lifestyle changes so that you can start healing. So, you or anybody in your family adopt the changes that you've made, like you've made some good lifestyle habit changes. Your family follows the same, or they like to just listen to doctors generally?
Well, I have 2 sons, my older son Ajay and younger son Amit. Ajay is active. he does a lot of sports. Amit doesn't, but both are very healthy, and they are in mid 40, early 40 and mid 40. Both are very healthy, very conscious about food, and I recently, in my family, my wife had a problem of sickness, and which is uh, which we are all very sad about it. But she's getting better now. It's been 10 months she suffered, but now she's fine. She's getting better. She's eating more,
Right,
and that's all I can say.
right. So do you also encourage her to make some lifestyle changes, and or do you
Um,
just encourage her to just listen to the doctors?
no, I encourage her to go for walks and all, and I've been taking her to the park, and she walks a bit there, and she's not same normal as what she was, but she's picking up well. She's eating well now, and that disease is such that it takes a lot away from you.
Yeah,
So she has to be careful.
right, right, right.
But she's better now. I think the doctor said it's gone. So
Yeah.
we are all happy for that.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you being, you being her husband with having such a wonderful sense of persistence, and you have some form of discipline that you want to achieve. You want to get yourself back to health and well-being. So from being 280 pounds, you are now 204 pounds. That's exceptional. So I'm sure you can definitely be a beacon of light or an inspiration to your family, to your wife, so
Yeah.
that she can, adopt some lifestyle changing habits as well. So, Dr. Sanjay, we lost you in between. Is everything okay? Uh, Please unmute yourself.
Uh,
I sorry, go ahead.
Yeah.
why strange, like my internet dropped today. So never happened, but happened today, maybe no reason. So
Yeah.
I'm back. Yeah.
Yeah. So we were just discussing with Mr. Chandira that he was just sharing how that he was 280 pounds 5 years ago.
Yeah, I heard
He's
all
now
that.
at 204, and he has walked 1 million plus steps in a month. And he decided to make that change, and he's made those changes. And he is consistently also possibly inspiring his family members to do the same, despite the fact that currently his wife is in a health condition right now. So what do you have to say about that?
No, first of all, Chand, thank you very much. I came to know about you through Lal. A few
Mhm.
months back, he showed me like, oh, there is a group, a walking group in Samsung Health, right? And
Yeah.
then everyone is competing with each other, like who is walking how many steps per day.
Yes, yes,
Usually what happens, like people try to walk 6,000, 8,000 steps, like, okay, and then reach 10,000. So that's like a touching mark like that. But you
yes.
guys like just gone crazy. So I said, wow, that's great. Like beating all the youth and everyone. And when I came to know, like you did million steps in a month, is like really, I really want to know what you do and how you do, where you go. Like it's amazing amount of energy. Like are you spending 2-3 hours every day walking?
More than that.
That's what it
But
is.
I do sit down in between.
Yeah, that's
Two,
what
3
it is.
hours will bring me maybe 20,000 steps. But if I have to do
Yeah.
more, I have to do maybe 5 hours, or maybe 4 hours. But
So when you walk, like in the evening or in the morning, like means when you prefer to walk, in the evening or in the morning?
daytime, evening, not morning. I'm a lazy guy. My family, I sleep late, so mostly afternoon and evening. My business is traveling. Like because of virus, there's no business, so no traveling. So I take it easy in life in the morning and all. Usually daytime and evening time I walk.
No, so I calculated your walking, like means approximately 30,000 steps per day you are making minimum.
Though
Right?
yes, the previous month yes, and last 2 months yes, but I have reduced now a bit.
Yeah, so like that will definitely take more than 3 hours, like or even more. So that's a very curious
Yeah,
thing to show,
yeah.
like your body don't give up, or like I think like share with the audience like your physical status, like when you walk, the breathlessness or the tired, like you can still talk? What is the speed you walk? It will help a lot of people actually.
Okay, I walk maybe 7,000 steps an hour, 8,000 steps an hour.
Wow.
I even slow jog, like walking, but slow jog so that I can perspire in this winter. And while slow jogging, I perspire a lot. And that really helps me to lose weight. But tell you, Dr. Sanjay, that I have never felt tired in my body or breathing. I have no problem breathing, no problem, never ever stop to breathe or say, okay, I'm tired. I've never felt that. Yeah, I do feel tired after 2 hours. I'll sit down for a while, and I also go to the park and I walk on the pebbles, the stones. The Chinese, they have the stones, you walk on those. I walk on those. That relaxes me so much, relieves me so much this thing from my legs, I really like that. And it is very essential living in Hong Kong. If we get all this chance to do all that, it's very good for the body.
Yeah, because
So
because when we see your number is like required a very high amount of physical endurance.
Yes.
Means if you do minimum 5, 6, 7,000 steps,
10,000 is okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So for you, it is okay. So that's what the main message is. Like if it is you, these steps are okay for you. Why I'm saying that? Because you see, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter whatever the health condition or challenges people have. At the end of the day, it's all about immune system. And it is very well known, like walking is the best medicine.
Yes.
In any like a healthcare system, if you talk to a doctor, doesn't matter whatever your health condition is, if you are walking or you are exercising, that is considered as the best medicine.
Yes.
So I could see that like it has a tremendous benefit, but your kind of things I will categorize like you are a marathon walker. Not a normal walker. You're a marathon walker. So as we say, like means I don't know, like I walk like around 10,000 on an average or 12,000. So my last month was 12,500 average.
That's very good.
So I will try to go 15,000.
So how long do you walk then?
I live in Mount Shan. We have a stretch on Tolo Harbor in front of this.
Yes.
So if I make a one full stretch, which is like a 13,000 steps, which is 10 kilometer.
13,000?
Yeah, 13,000 steps is roughly around 10 kilometer.
Oh, that's a lot, 10 kilometers.
Yeah, so
my 13,000 will be like 7,000, 7 kilometers.
Yeah, maybe you're jogging, so you're fast, right? You're something like
maybe
that.
My steps are short. My stride is shorter. You may be taller and your stride might be longer.
No, I'm not taller. I'm not taller, but like what I mean to say that whatever you are doing, it requires a tremendous amount of physical endurance at your age. That's the key message here.
Yeah.
And that's what we all want to learn from you, and the audience want to learn from you. Because we can understand a person of Narendra's health fitness, like he's the same trim, and I'm sure Narendra, this BMI is perfectly well, right? But when the people are a little bit on the heavier size, like I'm not talking about the obese, but like the overweight, and to have a physical endurance, something like you, we really want to know the secret. And secret is like, okay, we know, see, you can walk. This is open. That's not a secret. The secret is like how well you sleep, how many hours you sleep, what you eat is the secret. So then you can walk 13,000 kilometers, 30,000 steps. So can you share a little bit about your eating habit and the sleeping habit, please?
Well, I eat veg and non-veg both. Not that I'm only vegetarian. I eat everything, in fact. I have good breakfast in the morning, sometimes cereals. And about walking, I would say that if one starts walking, like you're doing 13,000 steps or whatever you're doing, first 1 hour or 30 minutes, you might feel, okay, it's a little bit hard, but then your body gives
Yes.
you energy
Yeah.
to walk more and more and more and more. And I have built that in me. Actually, I have been always active in my life, but I have built that in me in last 4 or 5 years, and I don't feel tired walking, not at all. I don't breathe too much. It's just normal. Everything is normal. It's not that I'm tired or I'm sit down. Nothing. I don't feel that. It's God's grace, I guess. But I would say if you want to walk, one should go gradually. Like
Yes,
5,
I think
6,000, then increase to. I have, like I was telling earlier, that I have told at least 20 people, and 5 of them are walking now, and they are very happy doing that. They started walking 3,000 steps, then 5,000. So I encourage them, okay, tomorrow 6,000. So this is how they reach 10,000. I say, okay, 10,000 is fine. You do 10,000. If you can do more, do more. But 10,000 is good for anybody, to walk 10,000, 11,000 steps, which is very good for. So the body gives you strength when you start. Maybe not initially, but later on, after a few walks, it gives you strength. And I guess the body builds in the strength. That's all it is, I can say. And my eating habit, like I said, I eat good breakfast, and I eat only very little lunch, not too much lunch, vegetarian lunch, mostly 90% is vegetarian lunch. And at night, I will not eat too much, but it's either fish, chicken, and maybe some vegetable also, and one chapati, and small chapati, not too big. That's all my diet is. And
So
it
you
helps
make
me a
you
lot.
make a very interesting point over here, which is like really want to share with the audience and other people. Like since you are like giving the message, you walk 30,000 steps per
Mhm.
day, which is like the really very huge amount in a normal norms, right?
Yeah.
So the thing is that like I will request you also like you should have like your CoQ10 enzyme test because I tell
Yeah.
you why. Because that is the enzyme which ultimate release the energy or create the energy at the cellular level. So
Uh-huh.
any people, those who are like physically so active, okay,
Mhm.
they need to preserve their energy. They should not be burnout energy at the cellular level. We are not talking
Mhm.
about the physical level.
Mhm.
And coenzyme Q10 is a well-known, that's a function, and very few people like that is why like these days people like eat a supplement like thinking like, okay, just eating iron, magnesium, this and that. No, like the supplementation is like has some very specific role.
Mhm.
And I raised this topic about coenzyme Q10 because if you are walking so much, definitely your heart is like really working so hard for such a long time period. So in
Mhm.
order to give your heart comfortability, right, it
Mhm.
is very important that the energy release from the heart muscle and the functionality of the heart muscle work very well. So
Mhm.
coenzyme Q10 is a kind of a must. There's a Nobel Prize on that also. You should like
Mhm.
read little bit in that. It's a very interesting
Okay.
like coenzyme Q10 got a Nobel Prize. The guy
Uh-huh.
who invented this and how it works the people like you very well. So
Okay.
that's the message for you, and that's the message for audience as well. Very
Thank you.
interesting. I'm so impressed with you, Chandra. Right,
Thank you.
Okay.
and I asked Mr. Lal to add me also in your group so many times, and he never did
Good.
that.
Okay, I'll do it for you. You just
Yeah,
ask
please do it.
your number. Ask
Yeah,
your number from. I mean,
yeah.
I will ask Lal your number, and I will put you in the walk,
I
and
told
they will
Lal
be.
5 times already.
Oh,
He show
Mr.
me, and then he has Veena has like thing. Okay,
No,
so please.
Mr. Lal has just recently been added himself. He has
Yes, today is third day.
yeah,
Really?
Today is his third day.
yeah. He is not in any group. He is not in any group until last 3 days.
Why?
All this time he has been told that he will be added, but now he finally got added.
Okay.
Let me tell you one thing. This is off the track here. Today, my wife is unwell. Okay. Today, my wife and my 2 daughter-in-laws had vaccination and for the coronavirus and did not feel anything. No pinch also while they had the vaccination inside. And my wife is sitting here eating now, and she did not feel fit. I just want to convey this message to anybody who wants to have the vaccination, which is very important actually to have nowadays.
That's a
So
good news.
yes,
Congratulations. That's good.
yes, and I'm going on the 15th.
Okay.
My whole family will have vaccinated. Even my household helpers, everybody will have been vaccinated by Monday. By Monday, everybody will be. So it's a very good thing. We are very happy about it. And 3 weeks later is a second shot, as a Pfizer.
Okay. That's good.
Yeah.
No, it's a good technology. Pfizer is a very safe and very good technology. So
Yes.
yeah. So no
we
problem.
are happy with it. So
Since
glad
you
we did it.
Since you raised this particular topic, I want to also share with you. The Pfizer is
Yeah.
though we are calling it vaccine, it should be called as a genetic therapy or immunotherapy, because Pfizer was working for last 20 years or 18 years on a cancer medicine. Okay,
Oh,
so
yeah.
this is what we are getting is actually designed for the cancer, but somehow worked on COVID. So it's a very cutting edge technology. Very good.
Yes.
So
Yes.
yes, so well done, sir.
Even my doctor suggested to get Pfizer, and he also said that this is good.
Pfizer is a safe because it's not a virus. It's a genetic therapy. It's a immunotherapy.
Yeah.
So that's good.
Yeah.
That's
So
what
he said that if you get that, my wife, he said if you do get that, it's good for you. So we are happy to get that, and she's just fine. Nothing happened to her.
All right. Okay, Veena. Thank
All
you.
right.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
I'll-
Thank you all. Thank you
Yeah,
all for putting me on. And
don't. We are still part of the discussion, so don't leave. We have Mr.
I won't leave, but I will leave for a while. But just have water and something. Come back.
So yes, so thank you so much. So now we come back to Narendra. Is everything okay with your technology?
I think so. So far, I've been hearing everybody, and I'm like, I don't belong to this group. You guys are all so healthy and doing so, I mean, both in terms of diet and walks and all of that. And I'm like, no, I don't belong here at all.
Oh, it's not a matter of that. I mean, there are so many other things. So there are people who are practicing things physically, but that there are other people who mentally and emotionally, and there are other things that they are doing that they are really persistent and they are really succeeding, right? So please do share with the audience, what do you do?
Yes, I'm first of all, before I forget, I mean, at the very start, you gave the introduction of Naveda. One thing you did not mention is that Naveda is an integral wellness clinic. Absolutely. It's an award-winning clinic.
Yes.
And this has been 3 years in a row. Am I right?
Yes. 2
Wonderful.
years. 2 years.
2 years in a row.
Well, I'm counting this year now.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, great. I'm the publisher of Global Health and Travel magazine. We started as a health and a travel magazine. This magazine was born in that little restaurant in just behind the Sheraton. What's that restaurant that most of the Indians go to?
Behind the Sheraton?
Yeah.
Now it's gone.
Yeah. That's the restaurant that's gone. Yes. Mask. Yeah.
Okay.
It was at a meeting at Mask with my ex-publisher with my ex-president of Business Week that we decided to create a magazine. I'm in my 11th year now. Don't ask me how I have survived, how this journey of 11 years has been. It's been a fabulous roller coaster ride. We moved to Singapore in 2014. Largely because medical tourism does not exist in Hong Kong. Hong Kong hospitals don't need any patients. They don't need to advertise. They don't need to do any promotion simply because they get a whole truckload of Chinese every second hour. And they were refusing even cases from Hong Kong to accommodate the Chinese. I mean, there was a time that what really made that decision was that when I saw that event, I think it was Mount Mary Hospital. I saw that they were as a public hospital, they were accommodating Chinese private patients. So there was a lot of that medical racket that was going on in Hong Kong. And I said, you know what, this is not where you're going to make a future. So we moved to Singapore. Glad we did that. It gave us an absolutely new lease of life, because now I am 1 hour away to Kuala Lumpur. I'm 1 hour away to, or 1.5 hours to Indonesia, and 2 hours to Thailand. And these are the 4 markets that are thriving. I mean, thriving in terms of Indonesians coming to Singapore, Malaysia, and Thailand now. Then again, when you look at China coming into these 3 markets, Singapore, Malaysia, and Thailand. So same with the Indians. 2019 saw over 1 million Indians coming down for their health checkup in these 3 countries. So they love, I think the Indian producers, the movie, the Bollywood industry has to be patted on the back for the fact that they've done so much of Malaysia in their movies that Indians, all of the Indians out there want to get down to Malaysia. So they go for their tourism and say, well, while I'm on my tour, let me go and do my medical checkup. They realize that they have 140 problems in their bodies. Then they stay back and do their treatments here. So yeah, I mean, this region is thriving on 3 markets: China, Indonesia, and India. And with China, I'm sure a lot of you sitting in Hong Kong know that China is taken a vow that in a year from here, there will be no medical tourism, in the sense that they don't want the Chinese to go out of China to any country for medical tourism. They want the Chinese to be treated in China. They want them to be treated in Thailand. They're creating a whole new medical tourism city. And they've also said that, well, when you go to Hong Kong, you get a 5,000, you can buy whatever you want to, your Louis Vuittons or whatever, but your duty allowance is 5,000. But if you go to Thailand, we're creating a duty-free center. You will get 5 times the allowance. If you go to Thailand, you will get the same stuff, but 5 times the allowance. So in every way, China is wanting to strike down Hong Kong completely out of the map. And sorry, it's real, but it's unfortunate. And the second thing, China is saying that, no, we are not even going to send patients to anywhere. So basically, this region started looking at Indonesia, have been looking at Indonesia in a big way. And Indonesia, in the next 10 years, will not improve their medical facilities. So they will still be a source of revenue for both Singapore and Malaysia. There are other markets that are growing very fast. Cambodia, Vietnam are 2 markets that are going to be a big challenge, at least in the second tier of medical tourism to both Thailand and Malaysia. So this is where we are now. Again, how we have survived, one of the biggest thing in 2020 with COVID, we were sitting at home, we didn't know what to do. And it was like everything is shut down. Nobody was going to hospitals. Hospitals will not open. We can't go and source our revenue from there. So we went digital. And going digital, not only, and we became the first magazine in the world that also had an audio link, which means on every page of the magazine, you could actually click and read and hear the story. So if you're a doctor and you have no time to see and read the magazine that I was giving you, you could now hear it. So that made a huge change. And then sometime in July, we started a new division, which is we started awarding the clinics. We brought clinics into the fore, because one of the things that happened with COVID is that the hospitals lost all their patients, because nobody within the community wanted to go to like, even if you went to Raffles Hospital, they have GP clinics, but nobody went to Raffles. They're like, my God, I'm not going to Raffles. They're treating COVID patients. I'm not going there. So the first point of call for any patient became the clinic, and the clinics have started doing tremendously well. And I said, well, that's a great opportunity. We changed ourselves and we went into clinic marketing and clinic awards. And we successfully did a live event in Singapore in December. That was like an event that was so welcomed by the industry, by the doctors out here. And we are already on to our 2nd year, and we are hoping to have it in Ho Chi Minh. And we're hoping that all the doctors particularly are already vaccinated, and they will all be having their vaccination passports. So We should have no issues having our awards in August in Ho Chi Minh. I'm giving you the date in advance, Veena, Sanjay, and Lal. This is on the 21st of August. And if you guys don't turn up, and even if you get the maximum number of votes, you would be stricken off the award nominations. It's a threat. So please take this seriously. Lal, you understood that very clearly?
Yes.
There we go.
was a
So we see you there on the 21st of August. And then the hospital awards, we're doing it in Bangkok, September 8 to 10. Now, one other thing that we did at the same time as a company we suddenly from one vertical, we decided that we're going to go into 5 verticals. So we have the hospitals as a source of revenue. We have the clinics. Then we launched Medical Festival Asia. We had 55 speakers, December 8th to the 18th, and the event ended on the 18th of December with the health director of Bill Gates Foundation. This entire credit goes to my son Varun, who took over this business. And now in September, we are even actually going to be having a startup pavilion of 150 startups. The audience would be people who come for the medical equipment and medical devices. We're looking at about 14,000 visitors to the Bangkok Convention Center in September. And this is the audience that will also come to our conference summit and as well as to the awards night. So that is the 4th vertical. The 5th vertical is that we are launching Global Health India. We are waiting for the borders to open up. We are waiting for a signal from the government that yes, people can travel, and the vaccination is on in full swing in India as well. So I kind of see that by May, we would all be talking about at your May next webinar, Veena, we will be having the panel talking about a vaccination passport. So that is becoming a real reality. And not just that, the governments are also very keen to open up this is all from the health industry side. The government's also very keen to open up the local tourism. And I can also see that there are going to be tourism bubbles, which like Singapore and Hong Kong should have a travel bubble open up as soon as your cases go down to single digits. This is a reality that will happen. Singapore will open up and Hong Kong will open up with Vietnam and Thailand. So a lot of this so people are just tired of sitting at home. People are tired of this. There's a huge webinar fatigue, which I'm seeing. And people want to really, to the point where Singapore has created a hotel at the airport that will, with rooms for meetings. So you could be having a travel trip to Singapore, a business trip to Singapore, and you could be meeting your Singapore counterparts at that hotel. You don't move out of that hotel currently. But of course, all of that will change with the vaccination passport. But there is a huge fatigue of people sitting at home and not meeting face to face. So all of this is going to be change big time. Webinars are definitely, the digital media is here to stay. But it won't be as rampant or as frequent as we saw in COVID. People had no options and they were doing that. A lot of industries, I'm sorry, Chand, I know you are into custom tailoring, but I know a lot of my friends who are into custom tailoring and they are also equally having no business. And what is happening is that all around, people are not traveling. They're not going to offices. People are working from home. So they wear a t-shirt and shorts and wear the jacket for the webinar. As soon as the webinar is over, the jacket is off and they're back in their shorts. So definitely the business has been impacted. In every spectrum, in every area. But all of this has to change. All of this has to, and the health industry is extremely bullish about it. They're very, very, right now, currently, if you are working in the health industry, you would be suffering because there is no money. Nobody made any money last year. There was no business. So obviously this year, everybody's cut down their budgets to 20 and 30%. But as the business opens up, as the borders open up, all of these guys have to market themselves. People have forgotten a lot of names. And all of this business will come back. So health industry in the next 5 years is a diamond mine. It's not even a gold mine. And this is where we are. I mean, we are also getting into another area. It's a little premature to announce it, but I will still get into that. I don't know how many of you have heard about JCI. JCI is an accreditation body that does accreditation for hospitals. Basically, they go into a hospital and they go and look into every area of the hospital, right from OT, operation theaters, surgery. They look at nurses at, the residential nurses of working area. They look at HR. They look at every corner of a hospital, and they come back, and the hospital spends over $100,000, and they come back and say, okay, you know what? We are going to give you the accreditation, and you are good to go. Now, it is a validation of what the hospital is doing. And the hospital wants to do that because they're getting a third party to come and validate their own efforts, because they want to know how good they are doing. But if they do any study internally, they're going to get a very lopsided view of the life. So they get an outside body to come in and do that accreditation. Now we are going to be the JCI of clinics. We will be the only body in the entire region, possibly in the world, that will be doing accreditation for the clinics. And Dr. Sanjay, you would understand what accreditation here means. So yeah, I mean, I think as much as I'm not onto all this exercises and diets and all of that, yes, my wife looks after all of that. But I'm just, for me, the mantra is being positive. For me, the mantra is to, yes, I do walks as much as I can, but nowhere near what numbers that I'm talking about. If I touch 5,000, and I'm like, wow, okay, I did 5,000, fantastic. So I pat myself on the back, rightly or wrongly. But my mantra is to seriously be very positive, be very ethical, and be creative, and just try and change as per the demand of the hour. That's about it.
Wonderful. So yeah, so really, listening to all this, it's like when there is a challenge, nothing has stopped you. You just basically thought out of the box and started, adapting to the changes and seeing what's possible, what the opportunities are, and where you can bring your talents and your skills and your experiences and start doing the things that you do. I mean, I've always seen you as someone who's very, very creative and who's very quick, who's very alert, who takes, things moves really quickly and doesn't just stop and think and, just think about it and just think about it. You just move. And this is something I've known of you since the last, how many ever years that I've known you?
30 years.
Yeah. Yeah, long time. So, I mean, just going back to that, I mean, you being a magazine, you're constantly in communications with the healthcare industry, with the professionals in there. And do you see that there's a gap between the healthcare professionals and the community at large? I mean, what's the gap, if there is any?
Well, I think that, as I said earlier, the model is changing. People are no longer going to hospital; they are looking at clinics. But one of the areas where everybody kind of thought there was a gap was like, in this digital media. I mean, there are two gaps. One is the wellness side. One is the digital media. Now, when you talk about the digital media, people thought that, I'm going to go. I mean, everybody, there were a lot of startups that came in and they said, okay, you know what, we're going to introduce telehealth, telemedicine. And a lot of people who don't understand health, who are from the finance world, they just jumped onto this bandwagon. Oh my God, this is health and this is telehealth. Of course, everybody will be talking. They did not understand that telehealth and telemedicine is governed by the law of the land. Okay. Now, very simple. I mean, if we talk about Dr. Sanjay here, I mean, he will be the best person to agree on this, is that today, if you go to a doctor and you tell him that I got this problem, and you do this consultation on the phone, on the telehealth, would Sanjay give me a medicine just based on what I tell him? No. He will want to see some reports. He would like to see me face to face. Now, there are, some of the things that he'll say, okay, you know what, you got a fever, okay, take an analgesic. Even that he would be scared to do that. So telehealth and all of that is very good. That once I have seen Dr. Sanjay, I've seen him once, he knows my condition, he has given me the medicine. Now I can't travel to him, so I'll pick up the phone, get onto the Zoom call with him, and say, you know what? Okay, I had this, hand problem. Now I can move my hand a little here, there, and all of that. So it's great for a follow-up. It is never going to be there for the. So that is one thing that digital media is a very false kind of hope that it gave to the world, that what, telehealth and telemedicine will replace face-to-face meetings and all of that. That will not happen, and there are a lot of those startups who are going to sink because of that. They've sunk in tons of money and they are going to lose. They're going to lose it all. There is no. And doctors today, they're against every one company that wants to charge you. There are 5 companies who want to give it to you free, because they are looking at the data. Everybody's goals are different. I mean, they're looking at a huge mass market. They're looking at the data. They're looking at accumulating that data and then selling that data. So that's one side of the digital media. Now, when we talk about the real gap between the medical, I think wellness is going to play a very, very important part. And I've already, I saw this 2 years back. So that's the reason we installed this aesthetic and wellness awards, because a lot of medicine is moving towards wellness. A lot of wellness is moving towards medical. So today, when you have bigger hospitals like Sunway, bigger hospitals like even Parkway now, I mean, they're all creating new departments which are completely wellness focused, and they're bringing in a bit of that medicine into wellness. So that wafer thin line is slowly going to dilute, is slowly going to become one. It is going to be just one. It will be medical and wellness. Now it is medical and there is wellness and aesthetic. This will change. Even on the aesthetic side, I mean, it's no longer just aesthetic. Now the biggest mantra is medical aesthetics. So it's no longer aesthetics. So it's no longer just going to your next door shop and getting a facial done. Now it is all going with the lasers. It's all going with the, with the different devices that is looking after you. So it's very much a medical. So that borders are changing. Though that I can see that merging.
So basically, you're saying that it's going to be more integral in nature, right? So it's like everybody, it's a part of one. It's not just individuals.
Absolutely.
Individually.
It's absolutely. It's not like 2 organizations. It's one organization with 2 heads.
I think, Narendra, thank you very much for mentioning this. It's a very interesting coincidence, because this afternoon we have a meeting with someone in Naveda, and that's what I was saying. Like the future of medical science or healthcare or wellness is going to be a one, because science always keep progressing. Right. So what we knew in 1970s and what we know now is a hell of a difference. Okay. And I always talk about in the medical science, doctors previously struggling for the surgery. So we have a tons of blood in the surgery, and now there's no blood surgery. Transplant, organ transplant became so easy. So this afternoon, that's what the thing. But one of the very interesting thing, what medical science is recognizing, that most of the disease are comorbid or heterogeneous diseases. Means there is not a single disease present inside the body. That a disease is, the root cause are many. So you can have a medical treatment, but wellness will definitely try to avoid your root causes. So it's a very good complementation to the healthcare, and doctors started recognizing it. This is a good news, that doctors started recognizing it. And in fact, in your magazine, I have seen some of the advertisement. They mention hospital and the wellness center inside the hospital, the wellness center.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. That's exactly what's happening.
Yeah. So I think
and one of the big bashing boys today, I mean, you talk to any doctor, you talk to anybody, and they'll tell you, well, I've been having this pain, or I'm having a bad tummy, or I'm having, oh my God, I'm so stressed. This is nonsense. It's complete nonsense. And today, even the doctors are basically telling you that, you know what, it was a very easy word to whip. So like, you know, I'm having this problem because I have stress. Please define stress. There is nothing called stress. Stress is something that you adopt to yourself. You start worrying and you're saying that, you know, I'm so bloody stressed. There's nothing called stress. And I mean, people stop looking at solutions. They start looking at a problem. Start looking at solution. There will be no problems. And today, when you look at any problem that you like, I had a colleague and I was talking to her today, and she said, well, you know what, I have blood in my stool, and you know, doctor said, well, you are very stressed, and he's giving me some medicine. I said, he's bullshitting you. He's giving you, I mean, he's giving you medicine for 15 days, 1 kg worth of bloody medicines. He's charging you an X amount of money. The worst practice that is happening, and particularly in hospitals and not so much in clinics, the hospitals, they end up giving you go to any of the hospitals in Thailand. I'm not joking, Sanjay. They will give you half a kg of medicines, half a kg. Okay. And you really went in there because you were feeling feverish. They tell you, you take this for this, you take this for that, and end of the day, the whole idea, they'll charge you X amount of money. But there's all this stress and all that. There are causes of every problem that you have in your body. It's not just stress. There's nothing. We just make it a whipping boy. That's about it.
Agreed. So one of the things, like, I also want to share with the audience and want to thank Narendra for your Global Health magazine. I think it's a very helpful magazine, and more people should know about this particular magazine, because
thank you so much. But I think
yeah, by knowing that magazine, like, people can easily learn 2 things. Because you see, like, when people fall in trouble, so what I get from that magazine, and I share a little bit, and it's a very powerful. And Narendra, thank you very much for that, because like I
pleasure, Sanjay.
explain that what is the essence of that. Many people, when they fall sick, they don't know which doctor to go, which hospital to go, what to do. They are very confused. There's lack of guidance. But the way the article and the advertisement appear in your magazine, it suddenly make for any person so clearly, like, wow, okay, let's go here. And these guys can solve our problem, because they are using certain kind of keywords. So like, what is the beauty I notice in your advertisement, like in your magazine, the way the hospitals are advertising, and the clarity of the language, the clarity of the message, as an audience or as a reader, I can say it is a tremendously helpful for the public, along with the articles you publish in the magazine. So thank you very much for that.
Now, can I tell you something here, Sanjay? Just a small point I'll add on to this today, is that today, if you look at oncology, cancer surgeon, you know, cancer doctor on Google, when you look at that, you will get 1 million doctors over there. Who do you go to? And when you look at the Google, the first page, the doctors over there, they are spending anywhere between $3,000 to $5,000 per month to have their name on that Google, on that and the top list. Number one.
Absolutely agree.
Okay. And where the magazine comes very useful are 2 areas. Number one is that when you see an article in the magazine, or when you see an ad of a hospital in the magazine, the first responsibility is mine. That so-and-so hospital is in my magazine. So there's a tremendous amount of creditability there. Number one. Number two, when we do the awards, particularly for the hospitals, we have a very strict jury, both for the hospitals and for the medical clinics. We are not so strict on the wellness and the aesthetic, because that does not fall into that life-saving and life-threatening. But when it comes to clinic awards, or when it comes to the hospital awards, we have a jury of the top hospitals in the region, from Siloam, from Parkway, from Malaysian government, from everywhere. They vet every hospital and they make sure that this hospital deserves the oncology award or the cardiology award. So when you rightly said that, when you look at the magazine, we have 2 big issues every year. One is the best hospitals in Asia Pacific, and the second is the best clinics in Asia Pacific. So when you look at these two issues, and when you look at those best clinics, you can be rest assured that when you go to that clinic, it is a certified clinic. And that is where, which is what I told you, I'm going into the business of accreditation. When we go into the business of accreditation, we will have nurses, we will have surveyors who will have certain standards that every clinic will have to follow. So for example, today you are a doctor, you are sitting in your room, you have your assistant sitting outside, and there are 6 people out there, and she just suddenly looks up to Veena and say, Veena, how are you? Is your stomach okay today? Why should 5 other people hear what Veena's problem is? Now, this is where that accreditation will come in very important, that you need to have a private room for the patient to talk to the patient. So it's very, very important. So today it is all about accountability. Whatever you do in medical industry, it's all about accountability.
Wonderful. So there's a question over here. I'm just going to take some questions from the audience. So there's Mrs. Jagjit Singh. She says, Narendra, so she says, last speaker said there's no such thing as stress. How does he explain all the health issues that cause inflammation and all those illnesses? He says solutions, not problems. Please clarify. Contradicts all that we've been reading.
Well, I mean, this is again based on in my regular chats with the doctors, in my regular chat with all the top surgeons or the top doctors in the region, and basically they all have the same thing to say, is that when they're seeing someone walks in and says, doctor, I got too much of stress and all of that, and my friend said, so how do I reduce my stress? Doctor says, hold on, we have to undergo certain tests, and those tests are nothing. Stress is not an organ in your body. It's a thought in your mind.
It's an emotion.
So the doctor does not treat that. The doctor is treating your body. He looks at all different tests. He will look at every area on why this particular problem is, or why that bleeding is. And he will look at that organ and he will understand whether it is because of a diet, whether it is because of something genetic, or what is that problem. He will look at it in that aspect.
Right.
He's not looking at stress. He's not looking at stress at all. And
right.
This is, again, I'm talking on my discussions with all the major doctors that I talk to on an today on a daily basis, I'm meeting at least 5 doctors on a daily basis.
Right. So Dr. Sanjay, she's also asking, how do you explain anxiety and depression that causes stress? So the question is, isn't stress the root cause of all chronic illnesses? So what do you have to say about that?
It's one of the cause. Like, see, what happened, like, as Narendra mentioned during his discussion about the digital media. And I absolutely agree with him. Like, sometimes this is a tendency of the human being to carried away with certain things. Okay. So in my last panel discussion, as I mentioned, there is a tsunami of celebration. Okay. So that's what happened. Like last year, there's a tsunami of Zoom discussions. I will not say anything myself, because I'm doing this online for last 20 years. So there are certain people, there's nothing new for them. But yes, we do agree that last year was a special circumstances. So it was like the conditional or situational stuff. But then as the things progress and open up, nothing better than face-to-face and interactive. It has to be a balance. So coming down to that kind of thing, the anxiety comes, or any kind of mental things comes when you think too much. And if you are meeting a person and if you know the reality, that's the key word. If you know the reality, your anxiety and your many things disappear. So you will notice one thing, the people, those who are very curious, number one. Number two, the people, those who are very a kind of a fearful characteristics. The people, those who are very jealous or very fighting in nature, or there is a certain kind of behavioral type. these people are more anxious, they are more like anxiety, and they are more depressed and all. There has to be a something, or desire, like there's so many things. Now that's what it is. This we so far cannot put into the medical science. That is the language and the vocabulary has to understand. Medical science is about the neurology, okay, a neuroscience. A neurosurgeon or neurologist will define under the medical terms, which is either is a physical, as Narendra says, look into the organ. So they will look into the brain. They will see whether your brain is functioning properly, or
Perfect,
the brain
yeah.
has any kind of structural damage or deformities. And based on that, they will identify whether it is a chronic problem or acute problem. Okay. And that based on that, the treatment is decided. Now there is a branch like called the psychiatry. So I would say like the psychiatry, like this, all anxiety and everything is the part of the psychiatry. And psychiatry is not like the structural damage kind of things. It's not an organ related. It's like as a thought related kind of thing. So there is a very clear cut division of things. So what Narendra mean to say, like when you go to the medical science or healthcare doctor or neurologist, he will look into your brain structure and the function, not more than that. Okay. But there is a vocabulary, the common word. Oh, you may have it may be because of the stress and this and that. Why this word is there? Because there's a lot of scientists, lot of people doing research and publishing lot of like articles like, okay, this disease is related to stress. So if you have a stress, it increase more. So for example, like I just give one example. There's a one condition in heart disease called tachycardia. The definition of tachycardia is like when your heartbeat goes over 100 per minute. I mean, heart started pumping very fast. And it is very well established, like when you are anxious or you are under stress, suddenly the signal from the brain goes or something like that, and then it goes up kind of things. If you have a stress, like it disbalance a kind of like your biochemistry or some kind of like your hormonal balancing, metabolic balancing, immune system things. And as I said, it's a multifactorial, so many things. So come down to the things, the starting point is the organ structure and the organ function. And then everything add up on the top of it.
Wonderful. So now, last but not least, any final words for Mr. Lal? Anyone would love to say any final words for Mr. Lal? Or Mr. Lal, would you like to share anything with everyone? You can please unmute yourself, please. Unmute yourself. Yes, any final words from you before we close the session? We are 10 minutes off.
Well, I wanted to sing a little song, but there's no time. Yeah,
No, please go ahead.
time now, but still I can sing.
But would you like to say a few words to all the people, to the panel guests over here before you do that?
Yes, I am glad that my good friend Chand is here, and he's talking about walking, and I have also started the same thing. I've started singing. I've started learning piano. I'm doing so many things because I want to prove that I'm going to be 50. I'm going to start 50 now. Yeah, the health is everything. And like Dr. Sanjay, like Narendra ji, they were talking about the health and all, So you can see here, health is here.
So I guess all with whatever, all the guests over here, the panel guests, whoever the panel is, I know one thing in common, that they all are very successful people. They are very, very determined people. They are persistent people. They have all gone through their own challenges in life, and they have risen above it. So definitely lots to learn from them, lots of wisdom to learn. And that is why I love to surround myself with such people, because I get to learn so much from them. And I'm sure the audience is learning as well. So yes, anyone else would like to say anything before we close? And would you all like to listen to Mr. Lal sing?
I will take only 1 minute to say, which I always say in like this panel discussion, as we started this panel discussion from 21st of January is going on. and it is towards Mr. Lal's 80th birthday. And when I started interacting with Mr. Lal on a personal basis or day-to-day basis kind of things, I was very impressed with this gentleman. And then I never thought like he's like 65 plus or something like that. And one day I came to know about his age. I was laughing myself. I said like, wow, that's great. And that's what the kind of inspiration that like Mr. Lal, like he's just like reaching a wonderful milestone of his life. Even this afternoon, I was talking to him, 80 years with like a perfect memory, perfect physical fitness. What else you want from your life, right?
Thank
So
you,
that's the
Doctor.
message like that comes like a kind of like the person, like when we cross 50, the people should get alert, and then they should learn or get inspired a lot of mindfulness by observing the people like Mr. Lal. So there are many Mr. Lal in this world. We don't know where we are. We found Chand today, like crazy walking 30,000 feet. So we not need to know more. Narendra, you don't have to do this because you are already in a shape. We are out of the shape, so that is why we are doing all that. So
Sanjay, I owe you a lunch for that.
So
yeah, okay, yeah.
I think Narendra does all the steps in his mind. He
No,
just
no.
learns with his mind.
See, he is there, so he doesn't have to. He just maintaining it. His job is maintaining it, right? We gone up like here. Everyone say like Chan plays squash. Ravi was like athlete and a sports person, and then somewhere something went wrong, and then we go out of like the proportion. So now we are working hard to come back into those. Narendra doesn't have to do that. He's already there. So
Thank
that's
you
what-
so much for your
so-
kind words.
yeah,
Thank you
so
so
it's an
much for your kind
inspiration.
words.
Yeah, thank you. So it's an inspiration for Mr. Lal. So the people like me, I'm going to be 57. So for me, like say, if I get inspired by Mr. Lal, it gives me a very good kick that, okay, what Mr. Lal is doing, if I maintain myself, I get a 20 beautiful years of my life. So that's the whole purpose of 80 is new 50. So there's a two thing, Mr. Lal is 80. So that is a new norms, like if like the as Veena said, people living longer. So Mr. Lal is 50 years now. People like us, those who are 50 plus, we can get inspired by Mr. Lal and then say like, hey, we have a beautiful life ahead. So once people mindset change, they become 50 plus, like, no, we are old and we have to go down, slow down and all those kind of things. So this panel discussion is basically rejecting that concept very strongly and saying like, no, life is on, and it is always on, and it is with the full pace.
Wonderful. And is baat pe gana ho jaye.
Yes.
Darshan do gan sham nath mori akhiyan pyasi re. Darshan do gan sham मन मंदिर की जोत जगाओ, मन मंदिर की जोत जगाओ, घट घट बासी रे. दर्शन दो घनश्याम नाथ मोरी अखियां प्यासी रे. दर्शन दो घनश्याम.
Happy
Thank you.
Shivratri. Happy
One
Shivratri.
para, one
Thank
para
you.
today. Tomorrow, full song.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everyone.
Good
Thank
night.
you.
Good
Good night.
night.
Bye. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.